Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Tiki Hut Studios. We are live, as you can see, from the beautiful tropics, and I'm your host, Ken Rose. I'd like to introduce the woman behind the screen over there. Say hi to everybody. Who are you?
Hi, I'm Lisa Rose.
How you doing, Lisa, tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Are you feeling good?
Feeling good.
Ready to start the show?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. To my left here are two fantastic people. I've got Tom and Jackie Peterson. Tom, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Jackie, go ahead and say hi.
Hello.
Tom and Jackie Peterson are with Splash Social Marketing. They've been in business 20 years, and we're going to talk a little bit about them, their business, who they are, where they've come from, where they're going, and we're going to get into some funny stuff as well. But as everybody knows, on the first show, the start of the show, we always like to introduce a local beer. I did something special this week because I didn't realize that both Jackie and Tom are islanders, just like myself. Tom is originally from Rhode Island.
Yes.
And Jackie is from Smithtown, Long Island, which is about 20 miles from Port Jefferson. And for those of you that are new to the show, it's not Long Island. It doesn't end with a K.
Long Island.
And it's no.
Starts with a
you
G.
you are incorrect over there. See,
Long Island.
No, you're causing a problem already. I'm going to get you a cup of coffee. So tonight's beer is coming directly from Blue Point, out on the south shore of Long Island.
Yep.
And we're going to bust these bad boys open. This is Imperial Sunshine. I don't know if Tom's going to have one, but
I'll display.
this is all right. So Tom, while we're busting it open, tell everybody about the beer that we're going to open up here.
Well, it does say it's Blue Point Brewing Company. Imperial Sunshine.
We'll
I
drink.
guess that's the flavor. Blonde ale with orange and natural flavors.
I like the sound of that.
Tastes like sunshine.
Tangy, punchy.
I like it.
Enjoy the trip. BluePointBrewing.com.
You are hired as our beer expert going forward. Thanks, Tom. That was really pretty good, man.
I've only drank twice in my life.
think
I did pretty
I
good.
think I've got a new career for you right here. Well, like I said, Tom and Jackie with Splash Social Marketing. I always want to say Splash Social Media Marketing. I don't know.
A lot of people
Everyone
do.
says Splash Media.
Splash Media.
So we should have changed our name long ago.
Right.
Yes.
Well, that's a marketing issue, and you are the journalism girl, so you probably should have done that already. But if you look at the ticker at the bottom of your screen, what do we have down there, Lisa?
It has their website,
Right.
splashsocialmarketing.com, and their phone number.
Perfect. And then I think
That's all
we
you
have
need.
at Splash Social Marketing. So, let's get into the show and tell our viewers what brought you here to South Lake County.
You want to take that?
Sure.
Because I'm here because of him.
Well, yeah.
We were living up in New York in Long Island.
Long time.
LON space Guyland.
Home of many guys.
But every year, we take the kids on a vacation to Walt Disney World. I'm a huge Walt Disney World fanatic,
Disney.
Incredibly big. And when we started our own business, we were in business for a few years, and we came down on vacation, and I came to the realization: why are we killing ourselves all year just to spend a week?
Sure.
Down in Florida in Disney, and then the rest of the year shoveling snow, everything else. So we decided to make the move on down. That was almost 8 years ago.
I voted for the beach, the coast. I lost, but I'm very happy that I lost.
Well, yeah.
It was still
Because now you know us.
it was still on the table until the hurricane came through and we didn't lose internet. And I was just like, I'm looking at everybody on the coast still trying to
That's so
recover.
Sure.
But and then we also we were renting a house. We weren't sure if we were going to stay here in Claremont, and we ended up really loving the business community, the actual area itself. We've got everything we need around us. I'm a 20-minute trip to Disney now. I mean, it's all
Sure.
good. So that's what brought us down.
And I get to see water everywhere, even though we're not on the coast. Love my lakes.
If you turn around, you have water behind you.
We came down for that, but we stayed because of the people, because of the
Yeah.
actual community down here.
That is true.
So, what do you like best about South Lake, Jackie?
Tom just said it.
Tom just said it.
Yeah,
The
I mean the
people.
people. It sounds like I'm just making us sound good, but that really is it. When we like he said, we started our business in New York, and I tried a number of different chambers of commerce, and I was completely anti-chamber. I didn't like the people. I didn't like the way the chamber charged for everything. So we just did everything on our own. And when we came down here, I felt the same thing. And in fact, I didn't do any marketing or anything in the Claremont area. I was driving out every day to Winter Park and
Orlando,
Orlando. And everything.
yeah.
It was because I found a small little group of people that
Sure.
were kind of like me. Then Dave Colby came and took over the chamber. And in 1 week, I had 2 different people say, "Why don't you come back and give it a try?" I went back. We went back. We loved it. We joined. I became an ambassador right away. And I mean, we found our family. We found, people that we want to do business with, people that we want to see be successful in their own businesses, and people that we enjoy spending time with outside of business.
So it's home.
It's home.
It's home.
And I say this all the time. It's the first place that I've lived, and we've lived quite a few places. First place that we've lived that I actually say, I love where we live.
Right.
Aw.
And Lisa and I say all the time, we're in a perfect place because it's a great community. Every place we go, we know somebody. We run into somebody. And
I've been here since '79.
well,
so-
yeah.
Yeah.
You were almost born here.
I moved away a few years, but
Right.
came back.
But the nice thing is we're really only about an hour or so from the Atlantic and an hour or so from the Gulf, so you can really be at the beach at any moment.
Yeah.
And Lisa and I even talked about maybe buying a place at the beach down the road, and then we're like, but we enjoy vacationing at the beach. If you're living at the beach, it's not really a vacation.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
But again, the business community here has just been amazing, to us as well. And
One of the local realtors had said something to us about, why don't you just get a little condo on the beach or something? But the same thing, like, I don't want to have to worry about cleaning it before I leave or cleaning when I first get there because that just.
And then you're limited to just going to that beach.
Yeah.
When we have so many beaches, so many different areas you can go to.
Exactly.
And based on our conversation earlier, the last thing you want is somebody living in it while you're not there, because then you may never
Exactly.
get into it again.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
You'll be making that payment and not enjoying it. I guess that's why squatting works. You just kind of move into somebody's vacant place for a while.
Maybe we'll try that.
So, do you guys have kids?
2.
2 kids? Are they here
They're
in town, or are they grown
barely
up and
kids.
gone? Or
They're grown up, but still here.
They're still here. Yep.
Yeah, 22 and 20.
wow.
Boy and a girl.
oh, good. So you knew you had 2. You're like, okay,
Yep,
we can
we're
stop. We got
good.
one of each.
We're
One
done.
for you,
Exactly.
one for me. And
We're done.
now, are they Disney? They love Disney too.
My son has loved Disney since he crawled out, and infant, toddler. Like he was just looking at everything Disney. And when the other kids were talking, he'd be like, "Oh, I love Mickey Mouse." Connor would be like, "Well, the Imagineer." Like he knew everything
Wow.
about it. He was reading
Yep.
the real books about Imagine, and that's never stopped. And our first trip down here, we came with Tom's parents right before Tom's father died. It was really important to Tom to do a Disney vacation with the different generations. And we managed to do that, a few months before he passed. But our first park was Epcot, and so you walk in and obviously see that great big giant
Sure.
ball. And Connor was just like, "Oh my God, the promised land, I'm here."
He's set.
And the greatest thing is that his first job was Epcot working at Spaceship Earth.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Absolutely loved it. And then, the first movie that Connor ever saw was Star Wars because he was days and it was only hours that he was home. And Tom sat down on the couch and watched Star Wars with him, and Star Wars toys everywhere and all that. And now he's over at Galaxy's Edge.
Wow.
So like
So
that's
he's
another.
still there.
Oh yeah, I think he's going to be a lifer there.
And then I heard earlier about this mystery man, Bellman Tom is
Bellhop.
Bellhop Tom. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Bellhop Tom? It sounds kind of like my creepy uncle, but
He
go
is
ahead.
a creepy uncle. Three nights a week I work over at Disney just because I'm such a huge fan and I love getting the backstage tours and everything else. So I started working for Disney. One of my first positions was working at the Tower of Terror. And I would always maintain theming. I would never break character. And Theme Park Review did a review of my spiel at the elevator. And then it became a challenge for all these Disney fanatics to meet Bellhop Tom. And that kind of caught on. Some girl up north made a fan page to me.
Oh my God.
Disney got wind of the fan page. They called me up one night and they said, "Hey, Bellhop Tom, we found your fan page on Facebook. Do you want to be in a movie with Goofy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I want to be in a movie with Goofy. What do you think I'm doing here?" So I got to be in Disney's first virtual reality movie, but it was great because they would, pull me off whatever I'm doing to handle all the VIPs. So like Chris Evans, Paul Rudd, Ariana Grande, Tom Hanks, Neil Patrick Harris, Gary Sinise. I met all these people, and I messed with them all too because I was Bellhop Tom.
I love Paul Rudd.
But you always stayed in character then.
I always
Oh,
stayed in
see,
character.
that's what's
Ariana
creepy.
Grande actually tickled me, trying to get me to smile. And normally I'm very ticklish, but
Oh, your niece
Yes.
would freak.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Or
So
his 2 nieces are obsessed with Ariana.
Oh,
Well-
our daughter
Oh
has
my
been
gosh.
watching
Like the best thing
Ariana
since
since
sliced bread.
before, since Nickelodeon. In fact, we went in Brooklyn, used to do a Nickelodeon day or whatever,
Okay.
and we went before she was, Ariana Grande. My daughter, and they were young. They had to make Ariana Grande shirts because they
weren't
just
selling
wasn't
them at
any.
the time.
Yeah, no.
And so I mean, we've been since then. And her big claim to fame is that Ariana's brother saw her shirt and came over. Was like, "Oh my God, you're so cute."
Oh wow. Yeah.
So we
see?
have a little thing for him too. But yeah, it's,
yeah.
Are they jealous that you met her?
What was funny was I put her on 5 times, and so she would just keep rewriting, and I'd always put her on. And they're with a guest service person that leads them around the park. And I asked the guest service person, I'm like, who am I putting on all these times? Like by the second time, they're like, oh, it's Ariana Grande. And I'm like, oh, that name sounds really familiar. So I go home and I ask my daughter, I say, daughter, does the name Ariana Grande mean anything to you? And she drags me into her room, shows me all of her posters. And I was like,
Oh
I
my
knew there
God.
was a connection. I said, yeah, I put her on 5 times today. She tickled me. She was like, oh, you didn't get an autograph. You didn't get a picture. Yes. I'm like, no, I can't do any of that. You can't do that while you're working at Disney.
Well, Bellhop Tom would never do that anyway.
No, no,
Hell no.
I obey the rules. But I'm Bellhop Tom.
So with Disney, but now you're also a cosplay guy.
Yeah, I'm a huge nerd. Okay, I'm a huge geek. I do everything that's geeky. I play video games. I play Dungeons and Dragons. I do cosplay. What got me into the cosplay was I had a friend who had a stormtrooper outfit, like a movie quality stormtrooper
Oh,
outfit.
sure.
And I was like, wow, that's really cool. He's like, Tom, you got to get one. I was like, well, where am I going to spend $2,000 on a costume I'm going to wear once at Halloween? He's like, no.
I heard that. I was like, hell no.
We're part of this organization called the 501st and the Rebel Legion. And
Are they the ones that are in our Christmas parade?
Yes.
All the stormtroopers?
Yes.
Are
yes.
you one of them?
Yeah, I have a membership there. Yep. So he says we do all these charity events, and so once he told me exactly, and they were doing them every week. So there were charity events every week.
Oh, wow.
So I got my costume together up there. I had a Jango Fett costume, movie quality. Everything was spot on. And we would do charity events for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We'd do terminally ill children's hospital visits. We would do we would volunteer at the Special Olympics, Stand Up to Cancer with the New York Mets. We were very involved with the Mets. In fact, they were
was my
the Mets would show a video of me every year for a few years, and then they just redid the video. But it was the give backs that really hooked me into cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
It was it's nice to donate money. We Splash Social Marketing, a portion of every dollar we make goes to a charity, and but to give your time to actually interact with the children, to interact with the parents, the people who are struggling or suffering. That's what hooked me into it. And now I've done it for Ghostbusters. Sony Entertainment thanked us for doing all the charity work, raising all these monies for different charities. So we got flown out to the premiere of the last Ghostbusters movie, saw it in the Chinese theater with Danny Aykroyd, everybody else. So it's a lot more than just putting on a costume. It's more about the give backs to the community, to the charities.
And I know you mentioned Dungeons and Dragons, and I was reading that you actually have taught Dungeons and Dragons to special needs teens as well.
Yes. So I've partnered up with schools in the past where we would put together like just a little curriculum, because Dungeons and Dragons, yes, it's an excellent role-playing game, but it also teaches a lot about math, about interaction with other people, about understanding different terminologies and how to problem solve. And so we go through it step by step. It's much slower than what you normally see on popular shows like Critical Role on YouTube or on Twitch, and it's a good. It's almost like good therapy for a lot of the kids. Some kids, autistic kids, they really focus in on the numbers and how to get everything right from the book over to their character sheet. It provides a lot of benefits for different kids, and I've been a dungeon master since the 80s.
Wow.
Wasn't there a cartoon?
Yes, there was a cartoon. Yep.
Wasn't
And
there a character named Uni or something like that? It was a unicorn.
the unicorn? Yes, yes.
name was
Look at
Uni.
you.
That's
Closet, Closet
my
Geek coming out.
No, my sister is obsessed with unicorns.
Oh yeah, blame the sister.
Ever since that show, and I remember Uni. I think that was his name.
Yes, yes,
That
yes.
cartoon was on.
There was a cartoon. There are rumors of them making a new movie. So a new movie is going to be coming out. Hopefully, it'll be good. We don't know, but yeah. So I do a lot of role playing games. Anything geek related. I play video games. I'm an ex Major League gamer. I had the #1 team in the country for Rainbow Six Vegas Attack and Defend mode, way back in the day.
How many arcade games do we have in the house?
We have an arcade in the house, so we got like Tempest and Street Fighter and Pac-Man and
Oh no!
Holy crap.
actual cabinets.
So after the show this evening, if anybody's watching, head over to Tom and Jackie's. I'll give you the address.
The admission
Have
is
a good
low.
time. So wow. So now, just before we get out of the cosplay thing, I've heard that a lot of cosplay people are so critical that your uniform or your outfit and everything is specific to that the first episode versus the second versus the third. Do you see that?
Yeah,
Or-
well, the whole
like the snobs. of
cosplay in general is a very accepting community. Anybody who is not is quickly kind of booted out of that community. But what you're speaking of is the 501st and the Rebel Legion has standards, and what they have is everything has to be movie quality. Like you could walk on the set and just everything
And go.
is point on. So that was the point of that community. So there you have standards, but it's not so much as snobbish as like, oh, you don't have the original Greeble for your Stormtrooper TK costume.
Oh,
no,
okay.
It's more like if you don't have it, here's where you can get it. Here's where we can help you get it. Here's somebody who's selling a secondhand one. So they want to see you build that movie accurate costume. As a result, when they needed stormtroopers to film The Mandalorian, they needed extra stormtroopers. They called the 501st.
Really?
Everybody just put on their costumes
And went.
they had in their garage, went over, and all of a sudden they've got stormtroopers. The R2 Builders Club, which is kind of like, it's not really costuming, but they actually build full working astromech droids like R2D2. The guy who was over in England. When they were making the new movies, J.J. Abrams said, hey, listen, we're going to be announcing the new movies and we're doing a tour. We want an R2-D2. Can you bring one of your R2-D2s over? So he bought one of his R2-D2s, showed him how he built it and how it works and everything. And J.J. Abrams says, that's great. You're going to be in charge of all the droids for the new movies.
Wow.
And, he kind of got that position. So there's a lot that it does open some doors.
Nice.
So some people actually end up making a living out of it. Not me, though.
So for as busy as Tom is, Jackie, what the hell do you do all day in your free time?
I stayed home with the kids.
Well, but they're older
Somebody
now.
had to
But they're
raise
older
them.
now. So what do you like to do in your spare time? I mean, other than just
That's a
watch
sore
Tom.
subject. I used to do a lot of stuff. I'm trying to find, now that I'm older and not as able to do the stuff that I used to enjoy doing, I don't really have anything. One of the first things I did down here was join the Claremont Dragon Boat team.
Oh, nice.
Loved that.
Yeah.
You want to get some Kleenex, please, or some tissue,
Um,
and just drop the air.
sorry.
Oh,
Hot flash.
that's right. And don't knock over the camera.
It's,
Sorry, our producer is busy taking care of our guests.
That
And,
age, the hot
that's what's
flash,
going
sorry.
on. Well, it happens. People sit next to me, they get hot flashes.
Yeah,
They
there
drink
you
beer, drink beer. They're like, oh, he looks better the more I drink. I'm like, okay, there we go.
I think that's written on the label
Right,
too.
right. So, what things have you enjoyed doing? Are you?
I loved the Dragon Boat,
Okay.
but I got hurt and had to come out, so I bought my own little kayak, and I would go out and kayak all the time. Thank you. Until I was in the middle of the lake, and the skeg on the bottom fell out.
Oh,
And it took me, forever. I just circled and circled until I came back in.
Holy
I've
crap.
gone out by myself since then. But I love the water. Put me by the water and I'm happy. Put my toes in sand and I'm happy.
you know that reminds me of a story, and not to mention any names, but there's this woman I know. I'll only mention her first name, Kalina, was drifting out to sea on a float. And I was like, gosh, if she just had an oar, she could be rescued. So I get it. But on a more serious note, now you're also an ambassador for the chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Now, being an ambassador, what does that entail?
knowing what the chamber is all about and welcoming people, educating people, and making sure that everyone's comfortable when they come in. And that's one of the things that I love about the South Lake Chamber is that it's, for the most part, very, very welcoming. And so that's my job, is to wear the blue jacket, and which stands out. And
They used to
and
be green, I think.
I know,
right?
I think they're better now,
Augusta.
but it's still, I always call it ugly blue, and then I get, no.
Yeah.
But that's it. We tell everybody about the chamber, what it's about. It really is great for your business if you're willing to put some time into it. You can't just write a check and the chamber's just expect that it's going to work for you.
Correct.
But if you go and you build the relationships like we all do with our networking and stuff, then it's great.
Well, and I will say this. I mean, I met Jackie and Tom through probably the greatest organization on the face of the earth. That is South Lake Business Leaders.
Yes.
Because we're always doing something for somebody else. And everybody there, it's like family. It's the weirdest freaking thing. It's
Again, a few people had said, why don't you join this group? And there's only so many groups you
Yeah.
can join, right? We could spend our entire day networking.
and you're not working anymore.
And
Just
yeah,
networking.
and I was like, oh, but so many of the people there, I see at other places, and I held off for the longest time, and then I went to a meeting. I was like, what was wrong with me? why didn't I not join sooner? It is. We're all really rooting for each other to be successful, and then, like you said, we're always doing something in community. This weekend, we helped fill 3,000 backpacks for back to
Right.
school, and the chambers, now they're going around and delivering it.
Just crazy
Nice.
stuff.
Yeah.
Now, well, let's talk for a second before we get into Splash Social. Unite to Prosper.
Yeah.
I've kind of looked through it. I subscribed or accepted or friend requested, whatever it was. So tell us a little bit about what that is.
COVID happened, and
What was that?
yeah, exactly.
We just started drinking.
It's obviously businesses were all struggling, and our business we did okay because everyone started to realize, oh yeah, that online stuff's really important. So we were doing okay, and I was talking with people, and talking about doing things for the community. When business leaders and everybody, we get together and we're always helping the individuals in the community, which is important. It needs to be done. But there wasn't a lot happening for the businesses. How
Correct.
can we actually help businesses? So Erin Faulkner with the Sprinkler Repair Company and we said, all right, let's start this. And we didn't really have much of a plan other than we wanted it to be a positive place. We wanted it to be for just local business owners, for a place where you could say, hey, I'm having a problem with this. Who has faced this challenge, or help me brainstorm? Because you always try to put that when you're out in the community. Oh, we are the most successful at what
Sure.
we do.
We're all
But
the best.
We all have the same challenges. So we wanted it to be a safe place where people could come and talk about it. And one of the differences with our group than most of the groups is that your business can actually join. You don't have to join as your individual,
right.
but your business can actually join, and you are welcome to promote every day.
Right.
The idea is we want everybody promoting. I started doing some interviews and things like that, and then, like I said before, it's really difficult to be
It is.
consistent. And but one that I did was for a new business down here, and she called me maybe a week later or so, and she said that her corporate office had seen the video and said how amazing that was, and she'd actually gotten some calls and gotten some business. Like, well, this is what it's all about. So what you're doing here is very that's exactly it.
Hopefully it's
works.
working. Big shout out to Erin, because we've been in our house for almost 10 years, and they came out and fixed all of our sprinkler heads, and we're finally
Grass
Yep.
looks
the
great.
grass is looking green in every spot except where the dogs are taking care of business. But
looks
thanks,
fantastic.
Erin, and
great.
Sprinkler Repair, outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? The meat and potatoes of the show is to talk about your business. So tell us what Splash Social Marketing is.
You want to take that?
Sure. Okay, so Splash Social Marketing, we help business owners take advantage of the opportunities that exist on social networks and on the internet. That's kind of our elevator pitch, really quick. I started Splash Social Marketing, kind of came up with the idea. I always worked for larger companies. Some of them were great companies, some of them were not so great. But I established a name for myself within Long Island in the community, the business community there. And I had a client call me up and said, hey, Tom, I know I need to be active on social media. I don't want to do it myself, and I don't want to give the secretary the license to be on Facebook all day. Nothing will ever get done. Can you find a service that will manage it for me? I'm like, okay, let me look around. So I looked around for a couple of days, searching around. There was nobody doing it. Nobody. So I came back to him and said, listen, I really couldn't find anybody, but let me ask you a question. How much would you pay me if I did it? And he came up with a number. So I ended up quitting my job that week. We got our tax ID number, our URL, our merchant account. I set up the website all within a week. So, and of course, I went over it with Jackie. I said, listen, I think this is the opportunity because I always wanted to work with my wife, just to spend more time with her. And I said, this is the opportunity. We have to take that chance, take that bet on ourselves. And so we did. We started it out. And that's how Splash started. And that was
2010.
Yeah, 11 years ago.
Wow.
So coming up on approaching 12, yeah. So, and then we also do websites for clients. We have a little bit different philosophy when it comes to building a website. Because when I worked for larger companies, they were always selling contracts. They were selling, and the business owner did not own the website. They did not, they didn't own their URL. They were paying, $500, $600 a month. And there were times where I would not sell a person. Even though I did sell them, I sat down with them, I pitched them, they're ready to sign. And I'm looking at their finances and looking at everything else. And they're mom and pop just starting out. And I was like, no, they cannot afford this.
Right.
They can't afford to put $7,000 down and pay $500 a month. This is not a good deal. And I told them, listen, just go to these places and, you'll own everything and put them out that way. So, that would hurt my commissions at the end of the month. But so when I started doing websites for business owners, I was still seeing the same thing. I missed a payment. They turned off my website. I've got no business. Okay, I wanted to leave them, but they're going to sell my URL back to me for $10,000.
Oh, wow.
And it was a nightmare story after nightmare story. So when I set up and I build a website at Splash Social Marketing, all we're charging for is, the work to build the website. And I set them up. Okay, you're going to pay for your server fees each and every month. That's between $9 and $20 a month. You're going to own your own URL. That's like $12 a year. Okay, but the good thing is, at the end of the road, you own everything. Okay, if I drop dead tomorrow, you don't have to worry about getting the keys to that car. You've got them, and that has kind of happened. We had one client where it was her cousin. Did a great job on the website, set everything up for her. She was a hairdresser up in Long Island, had a nice studio, and he went away to war and never came home. And then
Terrible.
She did not have access to anything. And it took an awful long time for us to get ownership back, but we finally did it. Because everything was under his name, his passwords, everything. There was,
Right.
there was no way we could get it. So it's very important for a business owner to understand, how important their website is to their business and that they should be owning it, that you're not leasing it from somebody else. That's a very important thing. So, and at the end of every website build, I include an hour training session because we've got a real easy back-end tool for clients to use. And I go in, I train them. Some clients are like, oh, this is great. I can go in, I can update my gallery myself. I can put in my blog. I can do all this myself. And some other people are like, that's great, Tom. I'm glad you showed me. But if I ever need anything, I'll throw you some money. You make the change. And I'm like, that's fine too.
Yeah, I think that's massive. It's a massive point that Tom's brought up in the fact that as a business owner, you need to make sure that you own your proprietary information. I know in my business being printing, I run into so many clients that have moved from online printer or somewhere else, and the first question I have is, do you have your artwork? They're like, well, no.
Yep.
And I tell every new client that comes into our business, anything we design for you, anything that we lay out, whatever we create for you, if you bring me a USB drive, we will save everything for you on a USB drive because you own it, you paid for it.
Right.
And so many times, they go to that printing company that's, I think they're in Denmark, I believe. and they never have access to their art. And it's
Yep.
the same thing that as a business owner, it's the most important thing you can do is own your identity.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And a lot of people don't understand that aspect of the business. You and I do. Because, like, I'll get, like, I say, can you send me your logo? Okay, here's this 10 by 10 JPEG. You know, that.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
not.
that's not going to work. Or
You're
they
speaking
send
my
me their
language.
logo. I said, where did you get this logo? I just found it on Google. You know,
Right.
and I was like, well, you don't own that. That's somebody else's copyrighted material. You need to have your own logo. You need to, you know, at least, you know, do it professionally and do it right. Because if the owner of that image that you're using finds it, says, hey, you're going to owe me some money. And you do owe them money. You know, that's the way it works.
I have a great story for that too. We had just gotten started with direct-to-garment printing in the shop here, and I found this great image online. It was like the perfect image, like you see at Ron John's or, you know, the fancy.
Right.
And so I'm printing this image off of our new direct-to-garment printer, and I say, man, this is fantastic. Let me post this to Facebook. So within an hour, the owner of that artwork sent me a cease and desist letter.
Yes.
Because I was illegally using his art to demonstrate the product. And in a roundabout way, the funny part of the story was I said to him, I said, but your art's really amazing. Can you make something like that for us? And he's like, absolutely. And so he designed our tiki guys and the parrot with the,
That's awesome.
you know, with the whole stuff. But that's a perfect example of using art that doesn't belong to you. And I know companies like Disney, they'll catch you in a minute. And I've had people
Oh, yeah.
come in and they want 15 invitations for their 3-year-old's birthday with Goofy, and I'm like,
Nope.
unless you bring me written approval.
Oh, you
from
just got
Disney.
that call about 2 weeks ago.
I get those calls all the
Something like
time,
that.
all the time, and you know, so it's important to own your material.
It's just like music. Like if you try and put any type of licensed or copyrighted music on your YouTube channel, they're gonna catch it. I made a YouTube video the other day, and I'm in my office. I have the doors shut, and the TV was playing, and it caught a jingle from a Disney show. I posted up YouTube, and they were like, and of course I couldn't hear it because I had my headset on when I was you know, making the video, and it said there's a copyright claim on, and I'm like, what? I'm like, there's no and I listen, and then I hear in the background very faintly. It's like, wow,
Wow.
Their algorithms can really pick up anything
Sure.
these days. Images, music, you name it. So I mean, that's websites are a big aspect of our business. Social network marketing. Content marketing, that's our other big aspect, which is, you know, we're your social network or internet marketing employee, just not one you have to pay a salary towards or benefit towards. And that's very advantageous for a lot of local business owners, small business owners.
Sure.
You know, and we've handled everything from small local pizza shops to Lucasfilm, General Motors. We have clients, a lot of local clients. We have clients as far out as Australia. So
massive.
yeah, our names gets around, and sometimes I don't know how people find me, and I always ask, and it's
Word of
usually a friend of a friend of a friend, that type of thing. So it's always by doing the right things in the business community.
Well, one of the things that people say, or I guess people tell you all the time, well, I've got my website, I've got my Facebook, my Instagram. Why should I spend time promoting the social media? It's already there.
And that's a great question, and there's an even better answer to that. If you ask anybody what the best form of advertising is, everybody will say the same thing: word of mouth. Correct? You know, and I just told you that's how our name gets around, is word of mouth. But in the modern age, the way we communicate is fundamentally different than from when we grew up. Okay, you look at everybody's on their phone, everybody's making posts, they're tweeting, they're posting on Instagram, they're on TikTok. There's so many different ways that we communicate now. If you're a business owner, you're not taking advantage of that, you are missing a huge boat. You're missing an opportunity to communicate with your potential clients, with your customer base, whoever it might be. And you know, it's not just enough to have a website. And nowadays, the website's almost secondary to everything else. It
Right.
just substantiates.
I agree.
Yeah.
You still need the website. That's absolutely needed for you to get found. But then now people are going to contact you through Google My Business. They're going to talk to you on Siri. You better, hope to know that your business, Siri recognizes who your business is and where it is and your telephone number, because if it doesn't, when people ask, hey Siri, can I get a pizza? Where can I get a pizza? Can you order me a pizza? You better make sure that everything is hooked up to the most modern forms of communication that are out there. And that's all social media is. It's people communicating with one another. And it's a huge opportunity or an even bigger miss.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that. One of the things that is like learning a foreign language to the rest of us are Google Analytics, and you are the Google Analytics guy.
Yes.
From what your wife says.
Yes, Google Analytics.
So let's talk about what that is.
It's another language. You'll never learn it. Just pay me money.
Well, there you go. Just mail the check.
Yes.
Mail the check. Mail it to 304 Mohawk. I'll take my cut, and then I'll get the rest of the time. Why is it so important for a business person to understand what Google's analytics are reporting?
Okay.
Or not reporting, for that matter.
Well, Google Analytics is very important because it will tell you how your website is performing for you. Is your website working for you, or is it working against you? Because I've seen websites that are absolutely doing a business a ton of damage to a business, but they don't know that. There's no way, because they look at a website. Oh, I got a website. I got images. I got a URL. I got a little menu up there.
Sure.
There's my telephone number on it, but you have to look at the traffic, where your traffic is coming from, the quality traffic. You have to look at your conversion rates. You have to look at your stickiness factor, time on site, what pages have a high bounce rate. There's a lot that goes into it. And I can't blame a single business owner for not knowing any of this, because it is very complex. It is very detailed. When you go onto the Google Analytics page, you've got probably over 1,000 options that you can look at. And for a business owner to say, well, where do I start? They don't know where to start. They don't know how to grade their own website. I do. I've been doing it since Google Analytics came out, when it was first on a site. And I could go in there and I could say, okay, here are the pages that are working against you. Okay, your home page is bouncing too many people. Your keywords are way off. You're coming up in categories you don't need to come up in. There's just a ton of information in there that is vital to every single business. I don't care if you have an online business or if you're a brick and mortar business, a business to business business. You have to have someone who knows what they're doing go in there, look at it, and tell you, yes, everything is going great, keep moving forward, or here's room to improvement, or the very worst scenario, you got to scrap everything and start over.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's the best thing. I'm going to take a bite out of one of the things that you said, because I think for our viewers or listeners, the thing that I always want to know is conversion rate. So if you can explain to our audience what conversion rate is, because I think that's really the tell-all if your site's working for you or it's working against you.
I love conversion rates because everything online is accountable now. You have the metrics and the analytics for everything. What I look at when I look at a conversion rate, especially when someone's doing an online ad campaign, okay, now they're actively paying money to get people to the site, okay? And you better hope that website is a great salesperson for you, because essentially that's what it is, okay? So when you're paying money to Google for a Google ad, okay, you're not just saying, oh, we're putting it in this newspaper, here's a radio ad, hopefully it'll hit some people that are looking for your services.
Of course.
Google shows your ad to people who are actively searching for your services right now. They need your services. They need something printed.
Yes.
They need a plumber. They need a exterminator, whatever it might be. Now, so you're paying money, and now people are going over to your website. Now, what I look at on the back end, what happens when those people go over, okay? Do they click to call? Do they click your, are we tracking your phone number? Is it a specific landing page that we're tracking conversion rates on, or different messages? Do they click to send a message? Do they click to send an email? And that is the conversion rate. Once we know those things, advertising becomes math. Okay, I spent $500 on an ad last month. Mm-hmm. Okay, out of that, I got 100 people to my website. All right, and out of those 100 people, I got 30 leads. And out of that 30 leads, I got 5 new clients.
Okay.
Now you have all the math you need to know to grow your business. Well, next month, okay, I had my 5 clients. Next month, I want 10. Okay? And so you kind of know what you have to spend. And as long as the ROI is there, okay, you can grow your business. Now, it's and what we do when we run Google AdWords or anything for a client, since we see ourselves as employees, we can pause at any time. A lot of companies, especially big marketing companies, they'll say, okay, give us, $2,000. We're going to spend all of it no matter what. We're going to take we're probably going to take about $600 of that, put in our pocket too. What we do is I run the campaign, and if we need to pause it or stop it or change it at any point during the campaign, we have that flexibility. We had a client who was a lawnscaping and a fence company, and he said, Google Ads doesn't work. I said, it works for everybody else but you? Is that what you're telling me? Give me a shot at it. Let me put together an ad campaign, give me a budget and everything. So I put together 2 ad campaigns, one for his landscaping business, one for the fence company. 2 weeks into it, he calls me up and says, you've got to stop that fence ad. And I said, why? He's like, we're booked out 2 months. I can't take any more calls and just keep telling people no and paying for those calls.
Right.
Because when you do an ad on Google and they call you, it prompts you, this is a call from your Google ad. So you know it's working. So he was saying, I just kept getting calls, and I say, we're 3 months out now. Okay, we'll go look for somebody else. So just pause it. So we were able to pause it. So, but yeah, conversion rates are very important for your website. If your website converts well, and each industry has a different average conversion rate, if it's not converting, that's a problem. But we don't know until we try, until we look at those analytics.
Sure. Hey, would you mind just grabbing a water for Miss Jackie here?
Okay, so for women who suffer these massive hot flashes, it's horrible. Peppermint oil, which I usually have with me, and I don't, is awesome.
If you go up to my desk, there's a small vial of peppermint oil, believe it or not.
No.
Yes, honest to God. Yes, honest to God.
That's for his heat flashes.
I'm
trying to think.
Thank you for caring, and thank you for calling attention to it. That's
Look. It's tough when you're a beautiful woman and you're next to 2 good-looking guys. It really, the heat in this room is hotter than hell. Anyway, all right. So conversion rates are very key. Let me ask you, Tom. Now, you mentioned with the fence landscape person, and this is where people make a mistake. I see it in business with direct mail and things like that. Is how do you coach people? Because they're like, well, I'm too busy. I have to stop marketing. Then they're slow and they're like, I gotta market. So I always tell my clients, look, you have to continuously market. At least keep your name out there, your information. So with Splash Social Marketing, you guys offer other things that keep their information out there, whether it's
absolutely. There's a lot of things that we do as far as engagements on social posts and everything else that helps keep people talking about it. Making sure people are aware of everything that you do, and not just the functions of whatever your particular business is, but the givebacks you do to the community, because that helps build trust within people.
Don't worry about it. I'll look for it.
Thank you.
So it is very important. They have to understand, if they're going to have a slow time, okay, and they know they're going to have a busy time, they still have to keep going through that busy time. They still have to keep pushing, because if you know you're going to have a slow time, why do you want it to be a slow time?
Right.
You got to keep going. You got to keep that business level and even.
And Google's always looking for the businesses that are active. So if you take time off, then it just takes that much longer for Google to recognize it and get ramped up. So you want to make sure that there's constant new information being.
And this all boils down to a lot of content marketing.
And that's what Jackie, you're the content guy, girl. Gal,
he says
woman.
queen, but
Yeah,
yeah.
she's the queen of engagement, the queen of content marketing.
It's more than just, okay, I'm going to make a post today. There's so much noise on social media now. You want to make sure that what you're putting out there is going to be heard above the noise. You want to make sure that you're offering something of value. And your main goal is to get people to actually engage with you. You don't want it to just be one way where you are talking to the people out there. You want people to like your post, but really you want people to comment and
see
share.
it, right? Share.
So it's finding what works for this particular your target audience. And so many people will ask me, like, what's the best time of day to post? And and they'll go online and they'll say, well, this social media guru said never post on Monday and only post these times. I'm like, okay, but what are your customers doing?
Right.
And that's the big thing. Go in and look at your own analytics. Facebook, Instagram, they all give you great analytics and tell you exactly when your followers are online. And then you can look at each individual post and say, okay, I talked about this here, and wow, people really liked that. Talked about this, I thought people were going to love that, and no one said anything. Okay, we're going to do more this way. So, don't listen to the gurus other than me. And
Damn straight. You heard it here first. The queen of content.
look at your own stuff. Just like Tom will go in and look at everything. How is it working for your website? I do it on the content side. I go into all the different platforms and, at least once a week for our clients, sometimes more, but to really see exactly what is happening, who's listening, who's engaging, and what's working for you.
Right.
And a lot of times, business owners have trouble wrapping their heads around what content marketing actually is, because it's not a mailer, it's not a radio ad, it's not a TV ad. I was talking with a dietitian?
Yeah.
A dietitian guy, right? And he helps people with their diets. And I obviously know nothing about diets.
I'm trying to learn.
But he says, yeah, Tom, I don't get this content marketing. I really don't need it. I said, well, let me ask you a question, okay? I'm a little bit overweight, and all I know about diets is the Atkins diet is the best diet to end all diets of all diets in the world, right? And he goes, oh, no, Tom, there's plenty of issues with the Atkins diet. And he goes off on this whole diatribe of all the pitfalls and everything else and, what you should be doing and the improvements. I said, okay. But
There's the content then.
I said exactly. I said to him, now if I were to search, if I was looking to do the Atkins diet, I'd be a great client for you. He's like, oh yeah, absolutely. Now if I search for the Atkins diet, are you going to come up?
No,
It's like,
zero, right?
No. So, okay, so now you need to put out content of exactly what you just told me. So at least you have the opportunity when someone's searching on Google to come up because they'd be a great client for you. You're missing out on a total huge section, exactly where you live of people who are searching. And I can guarantee you there are people in your town searching for the Atkins diet. He's like, all right, I get it now, Tom.
Well, and with what you're saying with content and information like that, I mean, I don't, and here's the thing out there for watching. I can do my own content. I can do my own designs. I can do all of that stuff, and so because I'm in a very collateral type business, being in printing and marketing, and so why would I even need Splash Social Marketing? And my answer is because I don't do it consistently.
All right, I'm going to grab out a contract. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So I think so that brings me to my next question is, okay, you're an expert. You know what you're doing. You've got a successful business, yet you can't get information out on time. So why should I use a local marketing company?
It goes back to what I said.
I mean, consistency.
Yeah, consistency and knowing, what. So I had somebody send me a video today. Hi, Shauna.
Hey, Shauna.
she's
Pick up your printing tomorrow, damn it. Your
She's
printing's
already
up in the
said
lobby.
hi.
She's probably said that Dustin can help the hot flashes.
She did.
I knew it.
Yeah.
It was the first thing that went through
Way
my
to go,
mind.
Shauna. We love you.
As I'm mortified over
Your
here.
printing's on my counter there.
And the video was done by a professional, and it's a great video. And I go to upload it to their Instagram page, I think at Dr. Dustin Vaughn. And the bit rate, the audio bit rate is not right. It won't work for Instagram. So that's the type of stuff that we know, and would have hoped that other people had known that too when they were doing the professional videos. But it's all those little things. You don't know, the sizing, even with and Facebook and Google, everything that changes so fast. So something that worked for me yesterday, I could go on to do it for another client today, and it's completely
We try to
different.
be experts week to week because
It
It
changes
changes so frequently, though,
constantly.
Tom. I mean,
constantly.
And they don't tell you.
They don't
Very
tell you.
Rarely
There's
do they tell you
there's no
anything.
bulletin board. There's no announcements of anything that that is coming out or changes, unless you're talking about Zuckerberg's metaverse that he's working on. But like even Google My Business, we'll go into it one day and next day something totally different is there. Like, oh, we got an option for this now. How many of our clients are women-owned business? How many are are veterans? There's so much, and we go in and we see these things since we go into it every day. So we know when these changes, or at least we try and know. Sometimes someone will go into it. It's like, yeah, I saw this on there. I was like, what? Huh? Oh yeah, there it is. Yep. Because they change it. They change it so often. They change the rules. They change the terms of what you can post and you can't post. So many people have gotten banned from Facebook, banned from Twitter, and they come to us and they say, yeah, I got banned. What do I do? Well, you don't get banned. You gotta understand.
Don't get banned, damn it.
You got to understand what you can and you cannot say. You can and cannot post. These are private companies, and at the end of the day, they're the gatekeepers. They're the ones who make the decisions, whether you agree with it or not. This is their sandbox you're playing in, okay? And you got to learn to work within those parameters and still get your message out without getting yourself banned. And we see that a lot of times with our politician clients and everything else.
And in case you haven't noticed, people tend to be on social media 24/7.
All the time.
So
my mother's on constantly. She's like,
But you're busy working. You're not necessarily seeing that somebody just made a comment on the page or left a review. We're getting all those alerts, and we will. So that's online reputation management. We're watching for whenever anybody talks about your business or you personally, so that we can address it. If it's great, but it's just a little review left over here, there's only a few people are going to see it. We want to take that and splash it out everywhere. If it's negative, we're really good at turning those negatives into opportunities. That's how we see it. Somebody, a restaurant, if they get 3-4 comments in a row or reviews where server J was rude or whatever, then we can go back to the business owner and say, hey, this is what we're hearing. It might be time to either train or dismiss this person, or vice versa. Wow, this server J keeps getting all these raves on there. Please take a moment to recognize him and value your staff, so we can help give valuable feedback. We also can look at Google My Business gives you tons of information about when people are coming into your store, when people are calling. So we've actually helped people know how to better staff their location, because this is your busy time. Well, how do you know that? Because we look at Google and we can figure everything out.
We track everybody by their cell phones walking in the door. So many business owners, I say, yeah, your most busiest times between 11 and 3 on Fridays. Like, how do you know that? It's like, because when you get an iPhone or an Android phone and you just go down to the end and hit accept, one of those things you're accepting to is them tracking you wherever you go, whatever door you walk through. So we know when all that foot traffic is coming in. And these are all the tool sets that we bring to these business owners, local business owners, companies, whatever it might be, that they just don't know. And the more information you have about your business, the better you can plan your business, the better chance you have at succeeding, just by knowing these things.
And it's not just putting a post out there, but it's knowing to do all the back end stuff, the tags. Is there all text on that image? And that's, people don't think, oh, well, I put a picture up. Okay, but if you don't do that back end stuff, Google doesn't know what to connect it to.
Right.
So, we spend a lot of time learning this, and a lot of time just, constantly looking at the marketing, the digital marketing for our clients, and making sure that it's all done.
See, so that's really two good points that both Tom and Jackie made. Is when you hire Splash Social Marketing, they're running your business from the back end. They're taking care of things that help you streamline your business. Letting you know your busy times. They're also doing your quality control for you that you can't do. You don't have the time to read all your reviews and make those adjustments. So they're actually on your team, and I think that speaks volumes. One of the things I like to ask a lot of our guests is, why should we do business locally? And this is a prime example of doing business locally. They're in your business, but they're not in your business, and I think that's massive. I think it's huge.
We really take ownership.
Yeah, you take ownership.
Each customer's
Because it's your reputation.
Yeah,
absolutely. And even though we're in the marketing field, 97, 98% of our business is all word of mouth, because we do the right thing, and we really care. And I become the biggest cheerleaders for our clients, and for the business leaders and everybody that we work
I
with.
can do plenty of Google ads. I very, very rarely do one for our own business, and it's just because we've made our reputation by doing right by our clients and our businesses within the community, and that's helped us grow. That's helped us maintain, sustain. We've had clients that have been with us for 11 years. So, and it's a testament to always doing the right thing by our clients. And I think that's how we grow. If it comes down to it, if we get, if we have a huge exodus, if Facebook goes down or whatever, they close Facebook's doors, and
We'll
then
figure another way.
yeah, then we'll adapt. Then we'll put out ads, but we'll continue to do the right things, by all of our clients.
Well, I think people forget, and people in business especially don't realize that the majority of us are in the marketing business. I mean, printing is what I do, but marketing is my business. If I'm
Right.
not marketing, or like Lisa, being a realtor, yes, you're a realtor. But if you're not marketing, because that's really your job,
Right.
you have no business. And so that's why the posts and things like
Nobody
that.
knows where to find you or how.
Correct.
Every business needs marketing. And you're either going to, do it and survive or not do it, or the chances are going to be against you for being successful.
And there's psychology behind the messaging too, is knowing even down to the colors that you use and the words that you use, what's going to make people actually remember you. And that's another thing that we spend time learning. And I mean, my degree is in psychology, and like you mentioned before, I worked in the journalism field, and so most business owners aren't paying attention to that. Again, other
You're
than
right.
Shauna. Shauna knows that stuff very well too.
You're on ball, Shauna. Six initials, and maybe you can hit on them very elementary. The first one is SEO. Everybody hears SEO, search engine optimization. What is it in layman's terms?
A search engine optimization is a process which allows your website to be discovered by search engines. Okay, so when somebody searches for your services on Google, you want to come up. The technical stuff behind it, what goes into SEO, there is a lot. Some of it's weighted more heavily than others. You have your keywords, your meta tags, your alt titles on your images. You have your ADA compliance. You have your security certificate. Those are all the things on the back end of the website. And there is a difference between keywords and meta tags, and a lot of people don't know that. They say, "Oh, I got what I do on my site; it's right there." But do you have it on the meta tags? Because the first thing Google's going to crawl is your meta tags, which kind of sets that ball rolling. And then there's updated content. There is a social authority now. When Google changed to include social authority as part of SEO. That's when our business really took off, and that was like a year and a half after we started.
I think so.
They said, okay, you could have two pest control companies. They have the exact same websites, the exact same keywords, the exact same meta tags, the same titles. Everything else is the same, okay? But let's say pest control company A, okay, and they both have the same reviews, some positive, some negative. But pest control company A responds to their reviews. All of a sudden, they're going to be pushed up. Okay, they have more localized links, quality inbound links coming into their website. They're going to get pushed up. They're active on Twitter, Facebook. They're going to get pushed up even further, and that's how they, leave the other ones in the dust. There was a local dog grooming place that I had built the website for. One of their big concerns was, we can never compete with Petco. We don't have Petco millions of dollars. We're a husband and wife team. Well, Google gives preference to local businesses, and a lot of business owners don't understand this, that they could take advantage of this. So I built their site and everything else, giving the instructions of what to do, and it took a while, but in about a year, all of a sudden, now they're bouncing between the number 1 and the number 2 slot versus Petco.
Which is perfect.
Wow.
Yes. Yep. And a lot of people say, I got a link over on the yellowpages.com. Google doesn't really care about that. I would rather a business owner have a link from their chamber of commerce, from their local church, a A highly localized link,
Mm-hmm.
okay, makes you more relevant. And that's the end game of SEO. Google wants to show the most relevant result to the end user, okay?
Wow. So I
and
didn't understand that it worked like that.
Yeah, so they want to say, what is the most relevant? If you're searching for this, what is the most relevant result we can show you? And it does everything. It remembers your search history. It remembers everything else. It takes a website. It says all these things connect this business with this person. And that's what we're going to show them. So a lot of times when people say, oh, I'm searching, I'm coming up number one all the time. I'm like, well, you click on your own website. Yeah.
Well, you know, and that's a point that I like to bring up, because I know that if I search on my computer for my company, I'm number one or two. Now, that's not factual though, right? Because that's not really an organic.
That is showing, Google is showing you what you like,
Right.
like, and it knows that.
Right.
So when I grade how we are coming up, if I do it from my own browser, it's going to
Prefer
show
you.
me show me my clients, because I go to their websites all the time. I'm on there, I'm on their Facebook pages, so it remembers all that. So I have to use a zeroed out browser. That's what I like to call it. I don't know if there's a real technical term for it, but it's a
fresh
browser,
computer.
a browser that does not have any recorded history of my searches or anything else.
Gotcha.
And I can see, that gives me a better gauge of how our clients are doing ranking in SEO.
SEM, search engine marketing.
Search engine marketing, well, that's just giving Google some money. You're
Instead of giving it to Google, Splash Social
yes.
Marketing.
Well, the top slot of the search. Whenever anybody asks me, Tom, how do I get to the top of Google? Well, you give them money, because the very top
Right.
portion of the page is advertisers. That's how you get to the top of the page. And so search engine marketing, okay, is what you're doing is you're putting an ad out there. And it's a little bit more complex than just saying, okay, let's put an ad out there. Okay, you've got I'd say, okay, I've got my keywords, I got my ads, I'm good. No, you got to see what's happening once that ad starts running. And I tell everybody, when you do search engine marketing, the first 3 months, your goal is to learn what keywords work, learn what message people click on the most. There's a ton of learning that you can do in the first quarter. You probably get business out of it, yes, but that's my goal. My goal is to learn, okay? But then once we have that down, we got that faucet that we can turn on and off for your business, which is really good. But when it comes to like keywords, like I set up for the same, it was a dog grooming place. I set up their keywords and everything, and they started getting calls right away. And he said, I'm getting like a lot of calls for mobile pet grooming. And they weren't. They were a brick and mortar place. And I said, well, my thought process is, well, if someone's looking to get their dog groomed, maybe they don't know you're right around the corner, and they can just go there. And that might be a good client, because you're a dog groomer. They got a dog. It needs to be groomed. Right. So in my mind, that's what I was thinking. But he told me, he said he knows his business better than I do, right? He says, no, Tom, I think there's enough business where we can just target people who want to bring their dogs in. I said, okay, let's try it out. And sure enough, he was right.
Right.
But that's the learning portion of it. I'm taking my expertise, bringing it in. He's taking his expertise, giving it to me, and we're kind of marrying the two together.
But he could have taken it one step further and maybe opened a mobile division too.
Right.
Well,
With all
yeah.
the business he was, attracting.
Yeah, I mean, if the ROI is going to be there, I'm sure that's an option, down the road, because now he knows he can get those calls,
Sure.
he can garner those eyes, those views.
Well, I think Tom brings up a really good point, because like social media marketing, printing or direct mail is very similar. And I tell people all the time, if you're farming a neighborhood, whatever you're farming, arrow tree or whatever, you just can't mail once. You just can't say to Tom and Jackie, I want to try you out for 30 days. I tell people when they want to market an area, it could take 4, 5, 6 mailings before people even recognize who you are or what the hell you're even sending them. And it's the same thing I would believe in Splash Social Marketing is you can't expect results in 30 days, because it's a process. It's a massaging of what's working, what's not working, and how we can be fluid with how we're marketing, right? I mean, I would think it's very similar to
Yeah,
that.
but the nice thing with this is that we can be extremely fluid. So if we start a campaign and say, okay, we're going to run an ad for 2 weeks, a week in, we see, oh, it's not really working. We're not stuck with just this final product. We can go in and change some of the targeting or change some of the wording, change the image, whatever we think might help it, and hopefully have a better second week from it. So
Right.
that we
Right.
can change it constantly. And
I mean, I agree. Why have a social media partner? Why not just do it yourself?
Because
I mean, I know why, but
a business owner should be an expert in their own field. They are not an expert in social network marketing. Okay, so if you're a plumber, you're going to be an expert plumber. You better be good at your job. I don't expect you to be good at social network marketing. That's where we come in and we help you out. Okay, we free up your time so you can continue to not only do your business but develop your craft, develop your talents. We take on that weight load. We take on that case load. We put that on our backs.
And chances are really good that if you're with the time that's freed up that you're not spending on doing your social marketing, you're going to earn more doing your own business than you're paying us.
Right.
So you're saving money in that sense.
yeah,
earning more.
and I think people are always apprehensive because they go online and look at these things. Oh, well, this is $3,000 a month. This is $5,000 a month. If I remember a conversation we had a while back, even for a few $100s a month, somebody could start a social media campaign and
absolutely.
with Splash Social Marketing.
We're set up to be very affordable to the local business owner because when I was growing up, my dad was a local business owner. He owned 2 sandwich shops in Newport, Rhode Island, and he was the only sandwich shop in Newport, Rhode Island. When the competition moved in, the D'Angelo's, the Subway, they didn't just move into the neighborhood. I could punch a hole in the wall and see their operation.
Right.
And I wish somebody could have helped him out. He ended up losing his businesses after so many years, after decades. And that kind of broke my heart. I didn't have the skill set back then to help him out. So we have a very strong affinity for local business owners. We want to see them succeed extremely, just like if it was my dad's business. So we're set up very affordable. Our contract terms are very agreeable. We have a 12-month with an auto renew, but there's a 30-day out clause. Okay. Some of our clients, they get to the point where they've grown. We had a financial company out in New York who were doing it for years, and they got to the point and says, you know what, we really want to try it internally. So what happens with us is you send us a cancellation letter, an email, okay? We're going to charge you for 30 days, but during that 30 days, we're going to make sure that baton is handed off smoothly. We'll train the person who's taken our place. We'll show them what is working for them, okay, in the past. So you don't have to go through that learning curve again. And sure enough, that same financial company, 6 months later, she left us. Can you start back up? No problem.
That happened to me with a client. Because we were processing all their direct mail, like millions of pieces a year, and they said, "Oh, we brought it in house because somebody got trained." Then they left, and they're like, "Hey, Ken, hey." Like, yeah, we can pick you up, and get
Absolutely.
started again.
Absolutely.
And that's the nice thing about dealing locally. Where are we going with this now? But before we get into our fun part of the show, Splash Social Marketing, locally owned. Definitely, you're dealing with Tom and Jackie directly, and when doing business, it's better to everybody does business with people. You don't do business with a name. It's always people, and I found that out, myself as well. And
That's been really important to us. When we first started, again, we were one of the first people doing it. And we had 2 big franchise development companies contact us and say, your business model is great, it's working, let's do this. And we had conversations about it because that looked like an amazing opportunity. But because of the experience that he's had working for other companies, and I worked for the government, and your hands are always tied, and you don't feel like you're doing the best for the person across this table from you.
Sure.
We said, what? No, we're going to keep it where it's just us. And, I think we probably could have been pretty big if we had done the franchising 11 years ago. But it wasn't right for us. We want to build those relationships.
franchising is weird because I'm a franchise, so all of our SEO, SEM's done at a corporate level, and I actually increased my budget for more leads, more marketing, and I was getting zero. And I said, there's got to be a different way. And then I started, my crazy brother, Mike over at Bagel Brothers. He's
Delicious.
He's like, well, why don't you just do some Facebook ads? And I'm like, yeah, why not? Why don't I take the same budget that I was sending there? Let me do my Facebook ads. I'll run an ad for 30 days. I'll put in my financial budget. And I generated more revenue in 1 month from doing the marketing than corporate was doing. But that's because I took the time to do it. And I'm as guilty as every other business owner watching this or listening to this afterwards is we always have the best of intentions. My intentions are every single Monday to send out an email blast. I can tell you that out of 10 Mondays, I probably send 1. And that's exactly why you want to use a company like Splash Social Marketing, because they'll make sure that that email blast is done, or that post is done, or your content is being updated. Because everybody says, I can update my content. I have time. I can do that on Saturday. And you never update your damn content. You just don't. It's the same content. There's the same guy from 1979 running a printing press that was built in the 40s, so you have,
And we're guilty of it ourselves with our own
in
business.
your own business, yes.
Our own marketing
Yeah.
is not nearly as
We're-
good as our clients.
We're the
We don't
doctors that
miss
don't
anything
take
for
their
the
own
client.
medicine because
Yeah.
we're so
Right.
busy working on everybody else's
That's
social
right.
media. We hardly ever go into our own. And, I've had, because I network with some, like the VP of Disney marketing and a lot of other other big marketing people across the United States. We're just in like this group on like LinkedIn and everything. And I remember one time somebody was complaining to me, it's like, Tom, you never post on Twitter. And I was like, we're doing it for so many other people.
Right.
I don't, at the end of the day, when it's me time, I don't want to post on Twitter. I want to play a video game.
I go through spurts. Every now and then you'll see our page is looking really good. Then
Yeah.
it's like, where have you been?
well, there's that old adage that the shoemaker's son
Yep.
has no shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of adages and quotes, I was on Jackie's Facebook page, and she had the funniest quote, and I laughed out loud. And I think it said something. I know we're off topic because I jump off topic, but I was thinking about.
She's like, where is he going with
Yeah.
this? I'm nervous.
There's a lot of quotes Jackie put on there.
But it was something like, I put my boob in a bra, one boob at a time, or something like
Just
that.
like every other one, put my boob in a bra. Right. Got it wrong too.
I don't know why I brought it up, but it was just funny, and so it got me to know Jackie in a different way than we usually do in the business community.
If anyone
Yeah.
is a fan of Bob's Burgers, I swear the character Linda, it's like he's watching me, and that's me on the screen.
Yeah.
I know my family used to joke about it every now and then. I'm like, I don't hear it. And then one day, my daughter just looked at me. She's like, Linda. And I thought, I hear it.
yeah.
Now I hear it. And so since then, I've embraced it.
Yes. It's better than Marco.
My daughter used to watch that show all the time.
Oh my God, I'm addicted.
Well, we're running out of time. We're going to get into our music segment. We always like to do a new little music segment
you.
for the show. And I'm going to start with Tom. I'm going to come to you as
Oh,
well.
shoot.
I didn't bring a guitar.
I have a guitar up front. Lisa, go grab that guitar. First concert you ever went to?
That's tough. I want to say it's the Throwing Muses, which is an alternative band from the 80s, just because I went to high school with them. They were signed by 4AD Records, but they used to practice at my friend's house back before they were, anything big. But I think the first, real big concert that I saw, I never went to huge concerts. I loved going to shows. So I'd go see the Ramones.
Okay.
Let's see. Who else did I see?
All right, I'm going to interrupt you. Tom had a favorite musician band when he was.
Oh yeah, I had a musician that I idolized when I was in high school. I mean, I love every single song, every
All
single
right, so who
record
was
he
that?
put out. It was it was called the Jazz Butcher Conspiracy, and it was a punk band. It was kind of like an alternative punk band.
Right.
It wasn't jazz at all, although they kind of sound jazzy.
And being Tom, when he puts his mind to something, he gets it done. You were what, 20, 21 or so, and when you met him?
I think it was like 20.
20. Met him, not only met him, but that was it. They're friends. They are friends to this day. He even did we chose one of his songs as our first dance at our wedding.
Oh, okay.
And
Cool.
he took the time to go into the studio and record a version just for us.
Just for us, yeah. And I got a credit on one of his CDs. You know,
That's cool.
yeah, I've always achieved everything I put my mind to. I've achieved. I've accomplished. You know, she wouldn't talk to me. She wouldn't date me for the first year that I knew her. But once I met Jackie, I dumped all the other girls that I was dating at the time, and I said that is the one for me. They're like, she'll never go out with you, Tom.
It's 25 years, isn't
Yeah.
it? 25 years now or thereabouts?
We started dating in '89, so we got married in '95. But music
25
wise,
years, 26 years.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Nice.
There we go.
But music wise, I love a lot of different things. I love.
That wasn't the question, Tom.
Well, the first concert. Oh yeah. So I'm trying to remember. I think it was the Ramones
Okay,
in
first
Providence,
album.
Rhode Island.
First album you ever bought?
First album I ever bought was "God Save the Queen" by the Sex Pistols. My mom took it and threw it away.
Oh, sure, sure.
And
With
she gave me
Johnny
money.
Rotten and all that.
Yeah, she gave me the money to get a new record, and so I went out and I bought the Clash.
Okay,
London
yeah.
Calling.
London Calling.
Yep.
All right, Miss Jackie.
I think my first concert was Genesis, maybe. With
Okay.
my sisters are much older than I am, and I think I tagged along to that at one point.
That's
So
awesome.
Genesis. Was it the Phil Collins years or the Peter Gabriel years?
Phil Collins years.
Oh, okay, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
First album.
That I have no idea.
No idea.
I do remember being really little and having my little red cassette player and walking around listening to the Rocky Horror Picture Show soundtrack
Okay.
constantly.
All right, yeah, that's
Maybe that. No, I'm sure I stole that from my sisters. But
I'm sure. Well, there you go. Now, for my final music question of the day, I like to ask everybody this question. So I don't know if you listened to the whole show before or not. Probably not, because you're like, oh shit, I got to turn that off. So you get a phone call from the manager of this band, and they're like, hey, Tom, Jackie, we really need you in the band. We can't find anybody else. We're short one person, and the only issue is that you have to come up with your own name, and you were invited to join the Spice Girls. What is your Spice name?
Oh, so I get to be a Spice?
Yes.
I see. I immediately go to social. So social space.
Social Spice. Okay.
You say yours first.
I just did.
What is it?
Social
Spice.
Social Spice. Oh, I kind of like that.
That's pretty damn good, right?
Most people get stumped on this question,
Yeah, that
and
one was
and
easy
they
for me.
can't answer it.
Oh, no, I got mine already.
All right,
I'm Arcader Spice. 'Cause
Oh,
I'm an arcader.
Oh, there you go. So that
Or-
was
or
pretty
Gamer
easy.
Spice.
Those were the quickest answers. Now for the close of the show, I always like to play this or that. So I'm going to alternate between both you guys, and you just answer
Okay.
this or that. Popeyes or KFC?
KFC.
Beer or cocktails?
Oh, beer,
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Bacon or sausage?
bacon,
Spaceship or rocket ship?
Spaceship.
Cake or cookies?
ooh, cookies.
Cookies. Facebook or Instagram?
Facebook makes me more money.
Oh, well, they see money.
You can debate more on Facebook.
M&M's
Yes.
or Skittles?
Oh, M&Ms.
Oh yeah.
Stuffed mushrooms, stuffed jalapenos.
Jalapenos.
And for the most important question, pay attention, Tom.
Okay.
Foot massage or back massage?
Ooh, that depends on the day.
Well, there you go. So,
What about today?
Today, I just need to jump in the pool.
yeah, I hear you. All right, last question. I'm going to ask this to both of you. So you're going to go first. It gives Tom a chance to think.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
If you could turn back time and tell your 18-year-old self something, what would you tell yourself?
Okay. Oh, I'm going to reference Dr. Vaughn again. Keep moving.
Keep
because
moving.
my body is shutting down. And he said something the other day, like once you stop moving, that's it. And once with injury after injury, and I stopped and I'm just in agony. And I think if I had known to, instead of listening to the advice of stay still and let things heal, use that, but also keep moving, I think I'd be a completely different person and probably handle my hot flashes better.
So keep moving. You're up.
Invest in Google.
Invest in Google. Well, there you go, everybody. That's our interview with Tom and Jackie. Hey, where can everybody find you guys? We're on social media.
Oh, on social media?
Where can we find you?
Oh, just on Facebook, just type in Splash Social Marketing.
And Instagram and Twitter is @SplashSocial.
Yes.
There you go. So that's Tom and Jackie with Splash Social Marketing. Thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. Lisa,
Thanks,
say
Ken.
goodbye to everybody.
Bye, everybody. Great
All
show.
right.
Bye, everybody.
We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for stopping in and enjoy the rest of your week. Have a good one.